through the perilous flight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets with glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors, that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, ladies. That was beautiful. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will call up Pastor Gregory Toussaint of Tabernacle of Glory for our invocation.
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Father, as we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month today, Lord, we want to thank you for the gift of culture. We understand that culture is nothing more than the power of our creative genius unleashed on the fabric of space and time. Whether we are gazing the Gothic cathedrals of Europe or savoring one of those savage jokes of Gabriel Márquez in Cien Años de Soledad, or we are listening to Haïti Chérie Mene Maledouce, we understand that it all goes back to you. As the Apostle Paul says, what is it that we have that we haven't received from you? So we want to say thank you. Señor, te damos gracias. Te damos gracias por el privilegio de estar aquí. Te damos gracias, Señor, por el don de la cultura. Sabemos, Señor, que la cultura no es nada más que el poder creativo que tú has puesto en nosotros, Señor. Entonces quisiéramos darte gracias por todas las expresiones de la cultura que tenemos en nuestra vida, que se trata de la música como merengue o bachata o salsa o lo que sea la comida, que sea, Señor, dulce de leche o arroz con pollo o lo que sea. Todos esos, Señor, son expresión de tu gracia, tu amor y tu favor. Entonces te damos gracias. Te damos gracias también por todos los que los hermanos, Señor, han hecho en esta comunidad. Señor, te pido, Señor, que bendiga su familia, su vida y todo lo que tocan en el precioso nombre del Señor Jesucristo. Amén y amén.
Thank you, Pastor. At this time, I would like to call Mayra Pineda from the City Manager's Office to present the occasion.
Thank you, Andrea. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's event. I am Mayra Pineda, Chairperson of the Hispanic Heritage Committee, and I welcome you on behalf of the committee. As part of North Miami's Hispanic Heritage Month festivities, we are gathered here today to pay tribute to the Alvarez brothers. Arturo Alvarez, Cesar Alvarez, and Carlos Alvarez. What better day to recognize these three prominent individuals who have contributed immensely to our community. Today, the Alvarez brothers are the first Hispanics to be inducted into the North Miami Hall of Fame. Buenas tardes a todos y bienvenidos a esta celebración tan especial. Soy Mayra Pineda y les doy la bienvenida en nombre del Comité de la Herencia Hispana como parte de la celebración de North Miami en conmemoración del mes de la herencia hispana. estamos reunidos aquí para darle tributo a los hermanos Álvarez, Arturo Álvarez, César Álvarez y Carlos Álvarez. ¿Qué mejor día para reconocer a estas tres personas destacadas que han contribuido grandiosamente a nuestra comunidad? Hoy, los hermanos Álvarez son los primeros hispanos en recibir el honor de ser parte del Salón de la Fama de North Miami. At this time, I would like to welcome to the podium Andrea Ramos. Thank you.
Thank you, Maida. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we would also like to call Mayor Andre DiPierre to the podium to recognize our dignitaries as we move forward in our ceremony.
Good morning. Buenas tardes. Well, let me say thank you again to the Hispanic Heritage Month Committee for putting this beautiful event together, along with Maida and Lucia. I was trying to follow Pastor Greg and follow into Maida's footsteps, but I would not embarrass myself with the little Spanish that I know. So I'll save that for another day. But it's truly an honor to be here with all of you in recognition of the contributions that Hispanics have made to our great country, the United States of America. To recognize our elected officials, I'll begin with our Vice Mayor for the city, Vice Mayor Stereo. Thank you so much for being here with us. Representing District 1 in the city of North Miami, Councilman Michael Blen. District 2, Councilman Michael Blen. District 2, thank you. Representing District 3 in the city of North Miami, Councilman Jean-Rodrigue Marcellus. And I believe our sister city, the mayor for our sister city is here with us. I think it's the mayor for Surfside, Danielle Diatek. Thank you. Welcome in the great city of North Miami. We have given TPS to a lot of you, so you got travel documents to come up here. And of course, our very own commissioner representing Miami-Dade Commission, District 2, a young man who's very progressive in support of National Hispanic Heritage Month, Commissioner Jean Monestim. Thank you so much. And I believe our very own city clerk, he walked in, maybe he walked right back out, Mr. Michael A. Chen, along with North Miami Chamber of Commerce, the newly elected chairman, Mr. Barry Vogel. Thank you so much for being here with us. And along with the executive director, Juan Wilson, thank you so much. And one of the greatest principal in Miami-Dade County is here with us. He was not the principal for the brothers when they were at North Miami Senior High School, but Mr. Michael Lewis, thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause. Listen, my friends, you got some big shoes to fill, Well, as all of you know, each year Americans observe National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th by celebrating the histories, the cultures, and contributions that they have made to this country, and of course, the ancestors that came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, Central, and South America. As you know, the observation started in 1968 when President Lyndon Johnson proclaimed Hispanic Week. Then in 1988, President Ronald Reagan expanded the time from a 1 week to 30-day period starting on September 15th and ending on October 15th. The day September 15th is very important because it is the anniversary of independence for Latin American countries such as Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. And in addition to that, Mexico, Chile celebrate their Independence Days on September 16th and September 18th. Also, Columbus Day, or Dia de la Raza, which is October 12th, falls within this 30-day period. Florida, as you know, has the third largest Hispanic population in the nation, closing to about 4 million residents in the state. 20.5% of Florida's population is Hispanic. So here we are in North Miami. Although it is 20.5% in the state of Florida, in the city of North Miami, we have 22% of Hispanic descent living in the city of North Miami. So it's truly a pleasure for us to have this kind of function, this kind of events in the city of North Miami, where we celebrate each other's culture. So we are pleased to take part of this celebration, and of course, inducting, the brothers that I have never met, the brothers that I read about, and the brothers that have done so much to change the city of North Miami. And you have to put that into perspective. When they first started at North Miami Senior High School, and I was just being advised, there were 5 Hispanics at that North Miami Senior High School, and I think the 3 of you plus 2 more cousins, right? Okay, and also I think there were 2 African Americans that were there at that time, and this was a class of 3,500 students. So let me say thank you again to your mother, who's here with us. Where's your mom? Mom, would you please stand up and be recognized? Gotcha. Okay, thank you. When Mom, got here from Cuba, she realized that the city of North Miami will one day be one of the 10 best cities in the United States of America. And she decided that she want to settle on the northwest side of North Miami. I think she used to live on Northwest 10th Avenue for a very long time. So thank you so much for having that vision, 40 years ago, that you could actually see that. Okay, so I recognize our state legislator that just walked in, Daphne Campbell. Thank you so much for being here with us. Okay, and of course from the Haitian Historical Society, Alexandra Barbeau, the executive director. Okay, our city manager for the city of North Miami, Stephen Johnson. Okay, our city attorney, Regine Monestin, thank you so much for being here. And all of our city staff that are here with us celebrating this day. So now I'm going to turn it over back to Mr. Andrea Ramos. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we do have a special tribute for the Alvarez brothers by the students of North Miami Senior High. We would like to call them up to the podium at this time. Miss Rochelle Hall, Miss Tiffany Enriquez, and Mr. Emmanuel Dorville. They will be followed by remarks by Mark Lapointe, Esquire, immediately following.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rochelle Hall, and I'm the current valedictorian at North Miami Senior High School, and I'll be presenting Cesar L. Alvarez. Cesar L. Alvarez is the executive chairman of the law firm of Greenberg Torreg. From 1997 to 2010, he served the firm as a chief executive officer. He began his tenure as CEO when the firm had 325 lawyers and 8 offices, and directed the firm through its growth to approximately 1,850 attorneys and government professionals in more than 35 offices in the United States, Europe, and Asia. During his tenure, the firm was recognized as the fastest growing law firm in the United States and is the 8th largest law firm in the country. Cesar was the first Hispanic managing partner of the major law firm in the United States. In 2008, Cesar was honored by Chambers and Partners with his Lifetime Achievement Award and by the American Bar Association with the Spirit of Excellence Award. Cesar was recognized as one of the 100 most influential lawyers in America by the National Law Journal, one of the top most powerful Hispanics in the Power issue, and the 25 best Latinos in business, Hispanic Magazine's Power issue, both in 2008. Cesar believes strongly in education and mentoring. As such, he serves on the board of trustees of Florida International University and is the chairman of the advisory council of Florida International University College of Law, and is a member of the advisory committee of the University of Miami School of Law. He also serves on the board of several not-for-profit organizations that support mentoring, youth, business, and trade development. He is currently the chair of the Hispanic Commission of the American Bar Association. Born in Cuba, Cesar immigrated to the United States with his family when he was 13 years old. He grew up in North Miami. Cesar is the proud father of 4 children, Elizabeth, Christopher, Catherine, and Colleen. He attributes his success to his deceased father, Ninsino Alvarez, and for his brave decision to lead a family to live in freedom in the United States, and to his mother, Iselina Alvarez, who at 90 continues to be a strong foundation for his family. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tiffany Henriquez. I am the president of the class of 2014 at North Miami Senior High School, and my tribute is to Arturo Alvarez. Arturo Alvarez is an accomplished attorney in South Florida, whose career has spanned public service and private litigation. He began his career as assistant state attorney for the Miami-Dade County 11th Judicial Circuit from 1973 to 1976. He moved on to join the City of Miami office in 1977 as Assistant City Attorney in charge of the litigation division. He continued his tort litigation practice at the firm of Sams, Anderson, Gerstein, and Ward before starting his own firm, Alvarez and Gamba, PA, in 1980. In 1993, Mr. Alvarez became a member of the firm Alvarez, Armas, and Boren, where he practiced until forming his own solo practice in 2011. Arturo Alvarez, attorney at law, now practices civil and criminal litigation. Born in Havana, Cuba, Arturo immigrated to the United States with his family as a student. He earned his bachelor's degree in political science from the University of Florida in 1970 and his Juris Doctor from the University of Florida School of Law 2 years later. He is one of the founding members of the Cuban American Bar Association and served as the president in 1994. That year, he was appointed by the Florida Supreme Court as a member of the Article 5 Task Force to review and suggest revisions for Article 5 of the Florida Constitution, which outlines the state's judicial process. He also served on several judicial nominating commissions over the span of his distinguished career. Arturo is married to Ana Viciana. He is the proud father of Vanessa, Alexandra, and Danielle, and stepfather of Anna, Angelica, and Enrique. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'll conclude with a tribute to Carlos Alvarez. Carlos Alvarez is an accomplished attorney specializing in alternative dispute resolution and environmental land use issues. He has been a sole practitioner since 1998 after practicing law with the firm of Hopping, Boyd, Green and Sams in Tallahassee, Florida. Born in Cuba, Carlos immigrated to the United States with his family as a young student and graduated from North Miami Senior High School.
Go Pioneers!
Carlos attended the University of Florida on a 4-year intercollegiate athletic scholarship. He was awarded Academic All-American in 1969, 1970, and 1971 for his performance as a wide receiver on the Gators football team and in the classroom. He was selected to the University of Florida Hall of Fame and graduated with bachelor's degree in political science, earning high honors. In 2012, Alvarez was inducted to the College Football Hall of Fame. To date, he still holds numbers of receiving records at UF. After graduating summa cum laude from Duke University School of Law and before becoming a partner in the law firm, he worked as an assistant law professor at Duke University and Southern Methodist University. He was authored and lectured on topics from the law of sports, conflict resolution, and environmental conservation and land use. Carlos Alvarez is single and has one son, Daniel, who is also an attorney. He enjoys or loves the outdoors, from hiking to kayaking and scuba diving. He is proud of his mom, Isolina Alvarez, who celebrated her 90th birthday this year and continues to lead the Alvarez family with great vigor. Thank you.
Mr. Esquire.
Good afternoon, folks. It is, first of all, I want to say something. The last time I was asked to say a few words, before this body, I recall that I was asked to do so literally minutes before. And of course, I complained about it at the time. And of course, I realize now, of course, I spoke with Councilman Blaine about this. This is just the way it is, right? But in any event, Mr. Mayor, and of course, Councilman Blaine, Sterl, and of course, Mr. Marcellus, it is truly an honor for me to be part of this event. But before I actually say a few words about this gentleman here, I want to actually recognize the council. And obviously the council has a lot to do. There's so much going on, and there are oftentimes dissensions as to what is the best way to do things, how to govern, and all those battles are fought. But it is worth recognizing that this is a council that has in fact taken diversity to a recognition level that is truly admirable. And we've seen that. This is not the first time. We've seen it many times before, that this council has actually gone out there and actually recognized in a very, very emphatic way, the diversity. And you look at the body of this city, the people who work here, you can truly say that it reflects the city, the constituency. So I really want to take this time really to, if I could ask you guys to give a round of applause to the mayor and to the council for this. Now, it is a distinct honor to speak about these three gentlemen, and I will not go through everything that was said here a little while ago, but it is worth pointing out that it was truly about time that these three gentlemen would be recognized by the city. This could have happened, frankly, 20 years ago. When you look at sort of their life, you look at their life story, you look at the trajectory their life story has taken. And I would even venture to say that each one of these men really could be and frankly should be recognized on a day separate from each other. Now I understand they're brothers, and and obviously collectively it is a thing to do. But when you look at each individual in terms of what they've done over the years, each man stands on his own. And we want to make that very clear, that this does not get lost here in the process, although this is a collective sort of recognition. But there is an individual aspect of this that speaks volume for this man. And again, my belief is brevity is the soul of wit. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on these things, but I do want to spend a little bit of time to at least summarize, at least in my view, what these men ultimately stand for. And when I think of these three men, there's a couple of themes that come to my mind. And the first theme that comes to my mind is the theme of family. And when you think, of course, right now, you see their mother standing here, this lady who clearly has lived a bit, right? But when you think of the things they've achieved, all of us here would agree they could not have achieved those things without that foundation, without that rock. Indeed, she is the rock upon which they all stood, right? And that is, to me, perhaps the most important themes. We can talk about all the accomplishment, all the things they've done, but it goes back to that family. All of us here can always identify with our mother. For some of us who are from single parents, and for some of us who've been blessed to be with two parents from our family unit in general. And you also think in family in terms of there are some things that must have been instilled in this gentleman to give him the perseverance to succeed. Because when you think about it, these guys came here at a time, of course, when you see Miami now and you think, well, you know, clearly this was a different time. So I think the second theme is the ability to come into a place with issues of language, with issues of resources, right? And yet figure out, I'm going to make it into this country. I'm going to make it into this system. That itself, to me, is the other story. There are many storylines here, but that story to me is as compelling, right? Because my sense is these guys were not who they were back then, right? When I think, for instance, if I can just look at Arturo, and for some of you who don't know, he's the fellow in the middle. And, you know, I looked at his bio, and one thing, too, going back to the theme of family, when I spoke to these gentlemen in there, one of the things that they told me very clearly is this: whatever you say, whatever you do, you know, just know that, you know, a family has been the single most important part. And I want to recognize Arturo's family. He's the proud father of Vanessa, Alexandra, and Danielle, and the stepfather of Anna Angelica and Enrique. He is married to Anna Viciana. And obviously, those have been the core and the rock of his family. And the reason it's important is all the success that he's had, right? We all can identify with the fact that it doesn't just happen, right? You need to have that family who understand that there are sacrifices that you have to make. And he's very thankful for that. And what I do want to talk briefly about is when you look at Arturo, he started as an assistant state attorney. Now, I was a prosecutor many years ago, federal prosecutor, and I know what these guys do. It's hard work. But also there's a certain ethic that comes with that job. Because a lot of times people think, well, you know, defense attorneys basically protect the Constitution. True. But state attorneys, assistant state attorneys, their task is supreme. Because the discretion that they need to have as to whether or not to prosecute a case, as to whether or not to bring a case, as to whether or not after you've indicted a case, to know you're supposed to dismiss the case. That is the kind of training, that is the kind of ethic that this man started his career with. But I'm going to jump all the way down to a couple of things, a couple of his major accomplishments, one of which is he was a founding member of CABA, which is the Cuban American Bar Association. For some of you who may not be lawyers, it is a huge, huge organization. And it does so much for the community as with respect to advocacy, with respect to pro bono. In fact, I would venture to say that if you're a lawyer in Dade County and you're not a member of CABA, chances are you've been living under a rock. And I would even venture to say that most lawyers who want to become judges in this town understand that it is part of the task to go through CABA, to interact with these folks, to introduce yourself to these folks. So that was a huge accomplishment for him to have been the founding member of this organization. But I want to jump down finally to me this is very important. It is very important for this particular accomplishment. Individuals will come to the United States with language difficulties. You know, it's a special challenge, right? And as I look at his bio, I noticed that he was actually at one point appointed by the Florida Supreme Court as a member of the Article 5 Task Force to review and suggest revisions for Article 5 of the Florida Constitution. Now, I'm not going to bore you with sort of minutia of how that works, but suffice to say that when Arturo came here way back when, if you had asked him back then, did you ever think you were going to be part of the state constitutional review? I don't want to answer for you, but my sense is that would have been a categorical no. So that is a huge and tremendous accomplishment for folks. I mean, as someone myself who didn't speak a great deal of English, when I saw it, that caught my eye immediately, because I'm thinking, this man here had this sort of laser focus, right, to have been able to do that. So Arturo, as I'm sure your two brothers will tell you, this is not just about you. So I got to move to your other brothers. Is that okay? Take my time. Now, Carlos himself is a tremendous lawyer. He has done a tremendous thing in this community. But the first thing that caught my eye, I am a Seminole. I don't know what that means to you. I don't know what that means to you, but I imagine it means something, right? And it turns out, as I'm going through this bio, and I noticed that this man here, he attended University of Florida. Okay, I understand that makes him bad automatically. But then, as I look some more, this guy was academic All-American in 1969, 1970, and 1971 for his performance as a wide receiver as a Gator. And I'm thinking, that is impressive. That is impressive, and I will just momentarily get into the Gators fan club. I said momentarily, and to recognize that amazing accomplishment. I mean, I imagine back in 1969, 1970, you were all alone in this group. And when I talked to Cesar a little while ago, he told me that particular award, there's a particular genre of that award that hadn't been actually gathered since 1948. And I'm simply at awe to just look at that, because as a lawyer, I tend to want to focus on the legal part. That's meaningful to me, because it says so much about your experience and so much about your life, and I'd love to hear about that at some point. And by the way, to this day, he still holds a number of career receiving records at University of Florida. But I don't want to skip the academic part of it altogether, because that is very important. He actually graduated summa cum laude at Duke University School of Law. Not exactly a small feat there. And he became a partner, and he actually taught law at Duke University. You should take it on faith from me that Duke does not simply give those types of assignments willy-nilly, and you have to be someone of tremendous intellect to do that. Again, I would ask Carlos, when he came here way back then, did you ever think once you would actually not only attend Duke School of Law, but also to be teaching there? I will venture to say that that was the furthest thing from your mind. And those things, to me, though, is sort of represents the amazing accomplishment of this man. And much like his brother Arturo, he insisted, of course, and I mentioned his son Daniel, and of course you talk about his mom as well, which you've already done. Now, I'm going to move on to Cesar now, simply because I put him last, because I'm sort of in a distinct sort of position of actually having worked with his firm. That is, we've had cases where we've had numerous defendants. His law firm represents one defendant, and I represent one defendant. I've had the opportunity to also go against his firm, in cases, and I've had the unique privilege of actually being his firm being a client of mine. And what I can tell you is this, because there's so much to go there, is what you see at Greenberg Traurig, that is the firm that has been CEO and chairman, has run through all kinds of ways. What you get at that firm is the height of professionalism, the height of accomplishment. The lawyers that you see there are lawyers who are fairly accomplished lawyers, who have all the kind of pedigree that you would want. Hard-working lawyers who put every sweat, every thing you can imagine in representing their clients. Now, I've known that very, very, very closely, because I had a case, I remember this. This was against Greenberg Traurig about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. There's a case where they're representing a billionaire and I'm representing a guy who didn't have as much money. So I had the equities on my side because he only had like just a few $1 million. And I remember as I was working with these attorneys, the amount of time they put into these cases. Those are people that you're dealing with at 2 a.m., exchanging emails, you're sending drafts to them on weekends. That's the culture of that firm. And that culture reflects, I must say, something from the top. I mean, those things don't just happen. And it happens because it reflects the sort of thing that he has instituted for many, many, many years at Greenberg Traurig. One thing that I also learned about Cesar when he was a client of mine is this. We all want to win. Make no mistake about that. And as lawyers, we have personalities that tell us that is what we do. We win for our clients. And I recall a particular time when Cesar had to make some decisions. And he could have made a decision that certainly he could have lived with. But what I learned about him, though, is he was about making the right decisions. He didn't care about how it appeared to him. He didn't care about the fact that it may cost him financially. He didn't care that it may cost his firm reputationally. He didn't care that at the end of the day, folks may view that decision one way or the other. And what he decided was, this is the right thing to do. And I'm going to do the right thing to do. Now, many different people and many different lawyers could have come at a different conclusion. That is the sign and the strength of this man right here. So, having worked with him under these circumstances, my respect for him is immeasurable, having watched those things. But one thing you should also know about him, and I'm not going to go ahead and speak about all the things that he's done, that is, you can make all the money in the world, you can acquire all the awards in the world and accomplish all the victories in the world, but at some point the sign of a man sort of gets beyond just those things, right? And it goes to your character, but it also goes to your legacy. What is it that you do for your community? You know, what is it that you want to be identified with, right? And when you think of Cesar, the amount of resources that is put in education, that is a very special thing for him. Now, I'm not going to go through the list of things, of boards that he's been part of, that he's actively involved in, that he was actively involved in, it was in the past. But suffice to say that he's put a lot of resources in these things. The lawyers circle that came up some time ago, that put hundreds of thousands of dollars in education. His firm was the founding firm that did those things. Now, that is, folks, just a small window into the accomplishment and what this man has done. He too is the proud father of 4 children, Elizabeth, Catherine, and Colleen, of course, Christopher as well. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that he attributed his success to his deceased father for his brave decision to lead his family to live in freedom in the United States. So, folks, I want to close by, again, all good conclusions really is an introduction. We shuffled. And that is, these men here have done tremendous things and have accomplished tremendous things when you look at their circumstances, and each man separately, frankly, could be recognized by themselves. Their story is a story about family, it's a story about perseverance, it's a story about identifying the ways in which to succeed in life. But you know what else? In conclusion, their story, now they're Cuban Americans, no doubt, but their story is an American story, because it is a story that all of us can identify with. It is a story that wherever you're from, you can take pride into that story. And I imagine neither of these men would actually say, no, this story belongs to just us. And I know because of their character and who they are, they too agree. it is an American story, and it gives me tremendous pride to have been a small part of this ceremony.
Thank you, Mr. Lapointe. That was an incredible depiction of all the Alvarez brothers this afternoon. At this time, we would like to call Mayor Andre Pierre again to the podium so that we can begin our induction ceremony.
Thank you again, Andrea. A good friend, Mark Lapointe. Sometimes, when I was young man, I used to watch him try cases, and what he just delivered to you, this is what he does in the courtroom. And talking about what they have accomplished is the personal touch, that really touched me, understanding that the story, your stories, can be, it's my story, it's the commissioner's story, it's everybody's story. So I truly appreciate the job that you have done in making that delivery for us. I see that we have another mayor here from Lauderdale Lakes, Mayor Barrington Russell. Thank you so much for being here with us. My TPS is extended all the way up to Broward County, so thank you so much for being here with us. And I think we have is Greer Wallace, who's wanting to become a judge. Thank you so much for being here with us. Okay, and I think we have Daniel Fizeme, who just showed up from the Haitian American Historical Society. Thank you. And now we ready for the induction ceremony. And of course, we want to say thank you to all of the sponsors, Mr. Ron Book for sponsoring this great event for us. Let's give Mr. Book a round of applause. And of course, the mayor and council's office. They do all of the hard work. They have the lifting. So let's give them a round of applause, Stephanie and Natasha. And of course, my lovely wife who allowed me to do everything that I do here, Bernadette Pierre. Thank you. Okay, so come forward. Okay, can we get the commissioner, the council, mayor, Mayor Russell, and Mayor that to come forward and help us induct this young man into the North Miami Hall of Fame? Okay. I don't know where to stand. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, one at a time. Okay. Well, let's start. Mr. Commissioner, would you do the first one, which is Cesar Alvarez?
What's the direction?
Let's start with Cesar Alvarez.
Mr. Alvarez, we lift this up together?
Yeah, you do it.
I do it? No, I'm not going to put... I do it from the front? Okay. Stephanie's doing it.
That's all right. That's okay. It's still alive, don't worry. It's still alive.
He was the least important brother.
Okay, let's have our visiting mayor. For mayor from Surfside.
We're going to use we're just going to put it in front.
Okay, mayor from Surfside, our visiting mayor, Arturo Alvarez. There you go. Okay, our...
Sorry. Are you going to come here for the picture?
Breaking my things.
Yes. Okay, and our visiting mayor, Mayor Barrington Russell, would you please do Carlos Alvarez?
And I promise I won't break it, right?
Please.
Break it.
There you go.
There it is.
All right.
First, congratulations.
Okay, now we're gonna walk out to the North Miami Hall of Fame so you guys could actually see the actual dedication. So please follow me. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to come out and join Mayor Pierre.
Yeah, fine. Join us, please.
State Rep African movies come forward. I mean, okay.
We're going to be walking out now onto the lobby atrium area for the actual unveiling, and then you're welcome to all join us for a reception hosted by El Kiosco, a local restaurant in the city. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon for our induction to the Hall of Fame.
They're moving this way to unveil the rest. I'm sorry. You with your mom? You with your mom?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you guys hold on to your mother?
Here we go.
My great grandfather.
Oh,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My stomach did it.
This way, please. Just let him hold it in his hand.
You got it. Thank you.
Here, see, grab yours and bring it.